how do you effectively break a bad habit? We build a lot of those in the beginning because we do things intuitively, and the intuitive thing is very often not very productive. And so we practice, or we have a teacher that isn't, seeing what it is that we do, or we practice, from YouTube videos, so we have no outside eyes to see what it is that we do. But many teachers actually teach bad habits, so their advice is, not very productive. That's just how it is, because we got 500 years of guitar development, and there are a lot of things that we do that isn't productive. Yeah, there's a lot of things like that, but other videos about that. But so how do you break a bad habit once you have it? Well, what we're really looking at is a pattern. It's an automated pattern. Once you put your fingers to the fretboard, then boom, the brain goes into that habit, that pattern. And if you've been doing that for a long time, like doing hammer-ons and pull-offs by having your fingers like that instead of using your fingertips, and every time your brain thinks hammer-ons and pull-offs, it does that thing, right? That is a habit, that is a pattern, a behavioral pattern that we need to break. And here's the recipe. You need, and I'm sorry, but this is the recipe, you need to slow down and do the right thing thousands of times. And that is normally, you need to do some work there, because you have to focus on doing the right thing. Because when you look away and you go, yeah, what did you say, Mom? Right? As soon as you do that, then you go right back into the bad habit that's not productive as soon as you lose. So you have to focus consciously on what you're doing. And then you need a hysterical amount of focus and concentration on doing it in just the right way. I used to do legato in a not so productive way, and then I had to do the right thing. It took me a month of focusing intensely on focusing on accuracy and precision in what I did, instead of just trying to make it happen, which is often what creates the bad habits, right? When you're trying to do alternate picking, you try to come up with tricks, and I must be doing something wrong because this takes forever, right? It's because we underestimate the amount of repetitions we need, so we start looking for all kinds of solutions. Maybe I should slant angle the pick, or maybe I should pick like this, so it's easier to go from string to string. And then in the other way, when I'm picking, when I go up from string to string, and then suddenly we have this weird stuff, like people picking like this, right? Or people using their whole arm. That's a weird part of the body to use for picking. And then that's not so good, because once you've been doing that a million times, because that's what we do with alternate picking, we do the same, right? We do that millions of times. Suddenly you have to go all the way back and re-practice that. Not only do you have to do the most productive thing, you also have to unlearn the old thing, which makes the brain constantly want to pull you in the direction of the old thing that you're doing. That's why you need the high alertness and the amount of focus. You need to keep an eye on that MFer, right? To make sure that it's doing the right thing, because if you're looking away, then you got the bad habit again. So that's the discipline. This is like getting injured when you are, doing some kind of sport, right? You want to become stronger, you want to become faster, whatever it is that you're working on for that competition, and then you get injured. Why? Because you push so hard. And then you get injured, and then boom, you have to spend the next 3 months just fixing that injury and not becoming better. It's a catastrophe. So, but the reason why you got that injury was because you pushed so hard, and then you get the opposite of what you want, and suddenly you're just a huge setback. So it's very important to do the right thing, the most productive thing. Why? Because everything that is not productive has a ceiling to it. So if you're using hammers and pull-offs and you're not using your fingertips, right, you can only get so far, or go so far, and then in the future you have to use an inordinate amount of power because you don't have accuracy. So you have to use a lot of force, and then you get tired in your hand. Then you start working your hand with little, tools to get, but it doesn't work because you don't have any stamina, and you don't need stamina if you have accuracy and precision, because that's really effective, right? But so it's crazy how much you have to work to get out of it again. So it's very important to focus on accuracy and precision in everything. When it comes to alternate picking, pick in the mere surface of the string. Remember the accents. It's delicate. Everything is delicate. It's not force. As soon as you have to use force to make something happen, you have to untrain that again, because every single thing that you do that is not productive has a ceiling to how effective you can do it. You either get tired in your hands, or you can only play so fast, or you can only play that well with that technique, and then you go, oh my, I reached the ceiling of what I can do with this, and then somebody comes along and says, yeah, that's because you do that with your fingers. You have to do something else. And then what you do there, you've done millions of times, and then you have to untrain that. You know, it's not a catastrophe as such. It's harder to get injured in sports because you can use that focus, and then as you climb the stairways of doing the right thing, you can really feel the added sense of freedom, and you can start to, wow, this works well, right? And you can feel, yeah, it's easy now. I can take this all the way up to the top instead of having it to be limited. So I hope that makes sense. And don't forget to subscribe. Go watch one of the other videos popping up here.